What if I told you that that free lead magnet you spent weeks perfecting might actually be sabotaging your sales? You're spending time on social media trying to promote this freebie, and maybe you have actually been successful in getting a few people on your email list. Maybe you have even started to participate in bundles and summits because you've heard this is a great lead gen strategy and you're getting people on your email list. You might have even built an impressive email list of thousands of subscribers through your free guides, your checklists. Your open rates might be decent, and people might even love your content. But when you finally launch an offer, you're hearing crickets. Sound familiar? Well, you're not alone. In today's episode of the Kingdom Revolution podcast, we're diving deep into what I call the invisible gap. This is a critical mistake that I see Christian women entrepreneurs making as they start to build their email list. And then their email list isn't converting. We will uncover why starting with free content without strategic alignment to your paid offer is like building a bridge that leads to nowhere. You will discover why I tell my clients that it is so important to begin with the end in mind, and that just isn't a catchy phrase, but it is the difference between duct taping your business together, the difference between profit and frustration, the counterintuitive approach that successful online marketers use that goes against everything you're seeing in the online space, and a simple 2-question framework that will transform how you create lead magnets forever. This is an episode you are not going to want to miss, especially if you have found yourself duct taping your business together. This episode will challenge everything you thought you knew about building your email list. I promise this could be the most profitable 30 minutes you spend this month.
Welcome to the Kingdom Revolution podcast, the online podcast for mamas against the mainstream agenda. We are redefining faith in online business to empower you, the Christian mama, to find and strengthen your roar, to clarify your calling so that you can create, grow, and launch a profitable, impactful, and scalable business by God's design without being a slave to social media and without sacrificing your faith and values. You know that you've been called to business and you want to do it God's way, not the world's way. A business that is based off the blueprint He put inside of you. A business by God's design, one that incorporates your testimony and inner fire to make a difference in this world. Like me, you don't mind going down a few rabbit holes, but you don't have to go down one to see that there is a war on future generations, a war on families, and a war against you, that kingdom warrior mama called to business, a war to silence your voice and movement. I believe your online business is your battlefield. It's how you get to show up and use that voice to create kingdom wealth and take back what the enemy has stolen. You have that inner fire to change your family's legacy, to take your passions, knowledge, life experiences, or even that hobby that you love and create an online business, bringing a heavenly solution down to an earthly problem. Maybe you have too many ideas. You're not even quite sure where to start. Or maybe you've been struggling for a few months, even years, duct taping it all together with worldly tactics and strategies that are just leaving you confused, overwhelmed, and questioning your calling. If that's you, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm your host, Kristen Duranci. I'm a wife, mama, ex-9-to-5er, and daughter of the King. I am a mama against the mainstream agenda who is using her voice and her online business to fight against the evils going on in today's world. I believe God is calling women back into position to a kingdom revolution, to the battlefield, to find and strengthen their voice, to stand firm for biblical truth, to be the change they want to see in this world. My mission battlefield? Restoring the family unit the way God intended, to bring mamas home so that they can be the one raising their warriors for the kingdom while making impact and income. So join me each week as I dive into honest conversations about my journey, tactical tips, spiritual and mindset strategies along with the step-by-step plan to empower you to take that step of faith, to partner with God, to create, build, and launch an online business by His design without being a slave to social media. So if you're ready to say yes to all of this, you're not afraid to rock that status quo and be part of a kingdom revolution, then armor up with Ephesians 6 and put on the full armor of God, because you are a warrior for the kingdom, and He is going to use you and your online business to do some pretty amazing things here on this side of heaven.
Hey, welcome back to the Kingdom Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Duranci. I apologize if my voice sounds a little bit different this week. I have been under the weather for about a week or so, and my voice is scratchy. I have a head cold. I'm healed in Jesus' name. Yes and amen. I am claiming healing over my body and doing the necessary things. But hey, a few extra prayers wouldn't hurt. So if you want to take a moment and set up a prayer for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Before we get into this episode that I know is going to bless you, especially if you've been struggling to get your business by God's design profitable and sustainable, specifically with lead generation, I'm going to bring you an amazing resource. You know that I love bringing the best resources and expert guest speakers here to help you grow in faith and business. And if you've ever felt like there's more on your plate than hours in the day, wondering how to truly invest your time wisely, then you need to listen to this. You might remember that my friend Alyssa, the time management strategist for Christian women business owners, was a guest on the podcast a few weeks ago. And she is hosting something big this September. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. It's called the Time Conference Experience, and it's happening in Nashville, Tennessee this September. So listen in to what she has to say and what this amazing event is going to be about. And then you can go to the link in the show notes, grab her link to the podcast, and use my special code KINGDOM to get an exclusive $500 discount. Make sure that you use that special code that I link up in the show notes to save your seats at this amazing event.
Yeehaw! Remember me? It's Lissa, time management strategist for Christian women business owners. And I've got a question for you. When there's more on your plate than hours in the day, how do you make sure you're using your time for what really moves the needle? Good question. And that's why you can't miss the It's Time Conference experience happening September 2025 in Nashville, Tennessee. It's going to be a boot-stomping, spirit-flowing good time with a guaranteed good roadie, return on time invested. Why? Because this is where 100 committed Christian women like you are coming together to learn to invest time wisely as CEOs, Christ-empowered operators of your business. So that way, you can truly reap the 100-fold growth you're praying for. All because you're focusing on the number one area business owners need to keep an eye on, your time. But listen, this ain't just another business conference, it's an experience. One that starts the moment you grab your ticket. With pre-conference resources, private coaching. Yeehaw! Remember me? It's Lissa, time management strategist for Christian women business owners. And I've got a question for you. When there's more on your plate than hours in the day, how do you make sure you're using your time for what really moves the needle? Good question. And that's why you can't miss the It's Time Conference experience happening September 2025 in Nashville, Tennessee. It's going to be a boot-stomping, spirit-flowing good time with a guaranteed good roadie, return on time invested. Why? Because this is where 100 committed Christian women like you are coming together to learn to invest time wisely as CEOs, Christ-empowered operators of your business. So that way, you can truly reap the 100-fold growth you're praying for. All because you're focusing on the number one area business owners need to keep an eye on, your time. But listen, this ain't just another business conference, it's an experience. One that starts the moment you grab your ticket. With pre-conference resources, private coaching calls, and a powerhouse community, you will be experiencing breakthroughs around your time even before you set foot in Nashville. Oh, and did I mention? We're bringing all the Nashville vibes. hot chicken, line dancing, VIP dinners, and a private concert experience. Girl, you don't want to miss this, because the way you approach time will never look the same, and neither will your results. So what are you waiting for? Go check out all the deets at redeemhertime.com/conference. And be sure to enter the exclusive code in the show notes to save $500 off your ticket. The sooner you say yes to approaching time a whole new way, the sooner you start seeing 100-fold roadie in your life and business. See you in Nashville, sis.
All right, my amazing Kingdom Woman Warrior Entrepreneur. I'm going to try to keep this episode short and sweet, but there's a lot that we could talk about: lead generation, building your email list, and having a sustainable business by God's design. But I really want to dive in and talk about the number one mistake that I see women in online business making, specifically those in the beginning stages of their business and those that are duct taping their business together. Now, no judgment. I was there. I did the same thing. However, this mistake I made was a mistake that I made even after investing in a high 5-figure group coaching program, which is a little bit frustrating, but hey, the coach only knew what she knew at that time, so I extend grace as well. But when I learned this concept from another mentor of mine, Rachel McMichael, who I was a part of her Business with Impact program for, goodness gracious, I want to say over 3 to 4 years, everything shifted and changed when she said, you get to start with the end in mind. And we're going to be taking that phrase and starting with the end in mind, because that is the difference between having profit and having a launch that is successful versus a launch where you're launching to crickets. All right. Now, the beginning of the lead magnet mistake, we're going to talk about what that is, but more importantly, why is it a mistake that we're making? One, because we're duct taping our business together. We are looking at what everyone else is doing and we're mimicking the same thing. We see it from left to right, and that's how we start to build it. Now, stay with me. I'll explain a little bit more about what that means. Also, I've had quite a few conversations with some amazing new women that have been brought into my realm of influence, and every once in a while, depending on where they find me from, I offer a free consultation or a free collaboration strategy session. And in conversations with these women, I see that they are duct taping their business together. They were told, just like I was, that they need to have a lead magnet and start building their email list. Does that sound familiar? Yes, it is driven into us that we need an email list. And we do, because it's something that we own. Social media is not a business growth plan. Social media is not a place to be growing your email list. We know that posting on social media, it's here today, gone in 2 seconds. And your accounts could be taken down like mine were right before a huge launch back in January, which, side note, it did not affect my launch at all because I had strategically built my email list with my perfect fit people, the people that I am called to serve, those that actually want what I have to offer. And we're going to talk about that today. The core of the mistake that is being made is that your freebie or your lead magnet doesn't create desire for your offer. Most Christian women entrepreneurs create lead magnets or freebies that don't properly set up their paid offer, resulting in building a list of people who aren't any closer to purchasing their program. Chances are because they themselves don't even know what they're going to be offering. The previous conversations that I've had with some of these amazing women is they were told the same thing I was. We need to build your email list. So create something and get it out into the online space so you can start building your email list. And then we know we need to nurture those leads. So we're nurturing them. We need to get in front of them so they can see us to create that know, like, and trust factor. So, hey, what's that next step? Well, let's put together a webinar. Or let's put together a 1-hour event about XYZ. Okay, great. Well, then what's next? And they're like, well, I don't know what's next. Well, where are you leading them to next? And they don't know. So we're building a list of maybe our potential ideal clients because we know we need to build our email list. And then we're told to nurture them or get in front of them and create that know, like, and trust factor. So we get in front of them, but we don't know where we're taking them next. So that key mistake is building a list without a clear path that converts these leads, these people, these potential people you might be called to serve, into paying customers. And we know when they convert into paying customers, that's where the transformation happens. That's where we actually get to start helping them behind that paid wall. So let's unpack this core mistake of not building a lead magnet that creates demand for your offer. And the key element is not starting with the end in mind. We are starting with free content without first defining what that paid offer is going to be or how you can actually help the person that you're called to serve. And then you're creating a lead magnet that isn't strategically aligned with your sales funnel because you don't know what you're selling them. So you're building a list without a clear path to your offer because you don't have offer clarity. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, many of us build a lead magnet and duct tape it together because we were told we should build an email list. Or remember, because we see others doing it. We see it from left to right. So we start to create it from left to right. You're starting to duct tape it and piece it together with disjointed pieces that don't create a natural progression from a free, highly valuable resource that attracts the person that you're called to serve and through the customer journey to your paid offer. Here's a mindset shift that I want you to have. You get to see your lead magnet as the beginning of the sales funnel process instead of the separate, simple list building process that you might be seeing your lead magnet as. The counterintuitive approach is to work backwards instead of forwards when designing your marketing funnel. So the traditional approach or the incorrect approach or the mistake that people are making is that most people experience these marketing funnels from left to right. So naturally, you create your own funnel in that same order. So what does that mean? So you see someone's piece of content or a Facebook ad and you're like, ooh, wow, I resonate with that. So you opt in. Or maybe you've heard their YouTube or their podcast, you enjoy listening to them, and you opt into that next thing. So you are then on their email list, and then you go through their funnel. Maybe they bring you into a nurture sequence where they nurture you for a while. They say, hey, I'm going to be having this webinar or this live launch or this challenge, or maybe they even offer you a low ticket offer, and maybe you've even purchased their offer. So see how you're experiencing it from left to right already, and you decide to create it from left to right. So you purchase their mini offer or you opt into their live challenge, and then you're going through their event and they make an offer, and then you choose whether or not it's for you. You start to experience it that way. And then, since we experience it that way, you start to create it that way from left to right. Now, hopefully, if that's you, after the end of this episode, you're going to be really getting into your offer clarity and reverse engineering your lead magnet so that you can create a strategic one. Starting with the end in mind so you don't duct tape that customer journey together is knowing what your offer is going to be, having clarity on how you can help your person, and then mapping out your signature framework. Clarity comes from taking action, but we have to take the right action, starting with that paid offer first and working backwards, defining what that paid product, program, or service is going to be, clarify the transformation it's going to provide for your ideal client, And then, and only then, once you have offer clarity, then you reverse engineer and create and design that lead magnet that is going to directly set up and create desire for that offer. Once you have your signature framework mapped out, you can extract a piece of it, and that can be your strategic high converting lead magnet. That is why when I work with my clients inside my paid containers or the Business by God's Design Academy, we first start with You by God's Design. We get to extract that blueprint that's already inside of you. And part of that looks like clarifying your kingdom calling. And if you have not yet gotten clarity on your offer or even your calling, you know that you're called to business, but you don't have clarity, then stay tuned because I'm just wrapping up the Call to Business Clarify Your Kingdom Calling mini course with a handful of amazing founding members, and they have gotten such amazing results. Once I announce this program, your socks are going to be blown off. Let me tell you, this is going to be a highly valuable mini course where you do have live interaction with me. I was hoping to have it launched by now, but hey, it's in God's hands and it is all good. The highly successful Kingdom Woman entrepreneur understands that she gets to start with the end in mind and then ask 2 questions. So there's a 2-question framework that's going to help you define both the external and internal outcomes of your offer. Question 1, what specific tangible outcome does your offer provide? And for this, I want you focusing on external visible results. What can you or your ideal client actually see, feel, touch when they have gotten results from your program? What is that tangible outcome? And then question 2, what does that give them? So ask this repeatedly to uncover the deeper emotional benefits. So we start with that tangible outcome and keep asking, what does this give them? What do they want? What is there so that? So for example, someone that's in YouTube marketing or they're getting their YouTube channel started, the tangible outcome that they would want is get your first YouTube video ranked at the top of YouTube instead of just saying improve your YouTube marketing. That's not specific and tangible. How are you going to improve it? How are you going to know that it's improved? But when you can say that your offer is going to get you your first YouTube video ranked at the top of YouTube search for your keywords used, so it's SEO optimized, that's specific and tangible. You know when that's going to happen, when it's ranked at the top of YouTube search, right? Well, what is that going to give them? That second question that you need to ask. What is there so that? Well, they want their videos ranked higher. Okay. Why? What does that give them? Well, it gives them more exposure. Okay. Well, what does more exposure give them? More leads and sales. Okay, great. What does more leads and sales give them? Well, more money. Okay, great. What does more money give them? More freedom, more time with family. So when you keep asking, what does that give them? You're going to get down to that emotional benefit that they want. We kind of got away from the main discussion of this podcast episode. However, hopefully that will help you get some offer clarity and defining how you are going to create a lead magnet that leads people to that core offer. Because remember, the number one mistake that I see Christian women in the online business space making is that they're duct taping their business together. They're told that they need to build an email list, but they're not starting with the end in mind first. We got to do this foundational work. It's not always fun, and it's not always the quote unquote sexy thing to do. We want to have an email list full of people that open our emails and sell something so we can make impact and income. But if you don't know where you're taking people along that customer journey, it's going to be a struggle. And I talk more about this step in the Grow Without the Scroll private podcast of how you need to have that customer journey mapped out of what your potential ideal client is going to do, where you're taking them once they come into your realm of influence. If you don't have this journey mapped out from they grabbed your strategic lead magnet and then the steps where you're going to take them to nurture them, to lead them to your launch sales conversion event, and then open doors to your offer, you're just going to sit there and struggle. And it's going to be a start-stop cycle because you're wondering why you're not moving forward. Because you got your lead magnet created because you were told just to create one. And you're starting to get people on your email list that resonate with that, but you're not sure what to do next. So then you throw something together and you duct tape it together. So now you have people coming in, which leads them to something, but now you're not taking them anywhere yet. And then you get to go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, now where I'm taking them. And that is just a constant start-stop cycle. When if you started with the end in mind first, and you had offer clarity, which led to ideal client clarity, which then led to clarity on that customer journey, then you would have a 3-point customer life cycle, the lead generation, nurture, and sales that's working like a well-oiled machine. Another mistake that I see is choosing unrelated lead magnet topics. So if you are having that YouTube course that I mentioned, and then your lead magnet is how to build your email list, I mean, there's a disconnect there. If you are a Christian woman who wants to teach a stay-at-home mom how to garden, but your lead magnet is how to live a life of gratitude, there's a disconnect there. And then the last mistake is working in the wrong direction, which we kind of already explained. You experience other people's funnels from left to right. Their content, their lead magnet, their launch conversion event, and then their sales conversion event. And then you try to create it from left to right, which you already know doesn't work. Smart Kingdom woman entrepreneurs work backwards. They take the time to start with one, you by God's design, because you can't create a business by God's design if you don't know who you are by God's design, meaning extracting that blueprint that's already inside of you, and then creating a business by God's design where you start with the offer and then work backwards, building your customer journey towards that paid offer. And the consequences to continually making this mistake and duct taping it together is having a large list, but few buyers. You're wasting effort on content that actually isn't generating any sales. Then you're stuck in the vicious audience building cycle of creating additional content after content to try to warm people up for your paid offer or that next step that you're creating as you go. And that's just going to keep you on the struggle bus. So if this is you, stop what you're doing and get clarity on your offer and clarity on your how you are actually helping the person you're called to serve. I call that your B to Y. A is your customer's current situation where they're unhappy and sad. Z is your customer's desired outcome. They're happy, they've gotten the transformation through your program. Your transformation that you give them is your B to Y. You, my friend, and your how is the B to Y. It is what is the bridge that takes your ideal client from A to Z. And if you don't know what that is with absolute specificity and clarity, knowing that clarity comes from taking action, sometimes in the beginning stages, we're not 100% clear, and that is okay. But you have to start there so everything else falls into place. So you can reverse engineer and create a lead magnet that actually creates demand and desire for your how, your B to Y, your paid offer. Because if your lead magnet doesn't create demand for that next step and desire for your offer and gets your ideal client closer to saying yes, then why are you creating it and why are you doing it? And this is something that I help my clients with inside the Business by God's Design Academy. Doors are currently open. If you are interested, I'm going to put the link in the show notes to the Academy. Things will be changing inside the Academy. I'm going to be revamping some things to make it even more highly valuable. However, if you want to get in to have lifetime access to the Academy, You need to get in as soon as possible because I'm going to be restructuring how the Academy is. And one of the things I will be restructuring is that it is no longer a lifetime access to the program. But don't worry, there's some amazing benefits and additional resources that are going to be coming. But if you want to get in and still have access to all these amazing additional benefits that are coming and get lifetime access to the Business by God's Design Academy, now is the time to get in. So you can go to the link in the show notes and sign up for the payment plan or the paid in full option, which allows you to get 20% off the cost of the program. And if you're wondering if that is for you, then email me or send me a DM on social media and we can set up a consultation call. And then you can ask me any questions that you have and we can walk through to see if the Business by God's Design Academy is going to be the right fit for you at this time. All right, I pray that this episode blessed you. Share it with a business bestie and have an amazing day.
That's it for today, friends. Real quick before you go, if this podcast has blessed you in some way, the number one way that you can thank me is to leave a written review over on Apple Podcasts. The second thing you can do is take a screenshot of this episode or that review and tag me over on social media in your stories at Kristen Duranci. And then I will share you in my stories and give you a shout out. This not only blesses me, but you are creating a ripple effect by getting this message into the hands of others that might need to hear it. And know that there's only one you. Someone is out there waiting to hear from you. They're waiting for your message, your story, and your solution to their problem. You are the expert they're waiting to hear from. I want you to know this, feel this, and most importantly, be this. Never underestimate the impact and power that you have been given through the Holy Spirit. Be blessed, friend, and I'll see you on the next episode.